playing the game. So let's make a decision who is going to be. And let
make somebody
play.
the starter
and
tell him you can make a mistake.
Because each week, those guys don't know who's going to play.
Right.
And then when one guy mess up,
and you can't be afraid to make a mistake.
Exactly. So those guys are going to play real cautious. And there's a reason why they're getting passes called on them, because they don't know if they're going to come out if they make a mistake.
Or
so
if they should attack or whatever.
Let them play.
All right, just Texans in general now. They're a 3-3 team.
Yeah.
They've been trying to get over that hump. We've all waited and waited and waited. Does that angst, does that all the commentary, does that go through the walls of the locker room? I know it has to a little bit.
No question. Yeah. Because number one, everybody on the team knows the city deserves this.
Right.
They know that the city wants it. And the city wants it so bad that you got to give at some point you got to do everything you can to give them what they want, because they've been fighting and scratching and clawing for years to make sure to get a team to go to the playoffs.
Right.
And there's no doubt, there's not just going to the locker room, but it's in their mind where they're playing too. Right. And every mistake that's made, they're thinking about it. Like this week, please. I'll tell you what, we're going to have to, if this is not a good week, we're going to have to go practice somewhere else.
There'll be somewhere else. Hey, real quick around the league, I'm going to give you some topics and just give me your thoughts as an NFL expert, as a former NFL player. Tim Tebow taking over the reins in Denver. What do you think about that?
You got to let the guy play. Build an offense around him and let him play.
You know, I've never really thought he's a pure NFL quarterback, which might as well find out, huh?
He's a ball player. When you have a ball player, let the ball players play.
All right, Oakland Raiders, they came in here and beat the Texans. They seem to be a fast team. They seem to be a team that is on the rise. Are they legit?
I think they're legit. I think they have a lot of pieces in place to be a team that you got to deal with. Number one, they have a running back.
Right.
Number two, I don't think they're as good at the receiver spot. They have speed, but just because you have speed doesn't mean you're good.
Right.
But I think when Jason Campbell went down, I think it's going to hurt them, because that was the first year he's been in the offense.
And now they had Carson Palmer, so we'll see how that works out.
First year he had an offense coordinator. He was around for 2 years straight.
One of your former teams, New York Jets.
Problems.
They're problems. I just don't see it anymore. What's the deal?
Problems. You know what? It's sometimes that when you're hyped up that much, you start believing the hype instead of playing.
Yeah.
And I think it's time for those guys to play and stop believing in the hype.
Well, man, thanks for coming by here. You've been playing good golf, so that's always good news when you're playing good golf. That's Bert Brocker, the head coach at Texan Buick GMC, who brings us this every week. My man, Aaron Glen. And next on the tailgate, I still think they're here. The team of the week is Kingwood Park Cross Country. I think they're still here. Also, Kingwood Park Cheer. Let's find out if they're here for sure. And how about a little World Series talk? Texas Rangers are in the World Series. How about a former Texas Ranger, the youngest player ever to play in the major leagues? David Clyde is going to be joining us next on the tailgate at Texan Plaza. Don't you go anywhere. Here we go. Easy, David, easy. This happens. This is the way it is at the tailgate at Texan Plaza. That's just kind of the energy you get when you're out here. Brought to you every week by my man Bert Brocker and Texan Buick GMC. We are joined now, a legend. I mean, really, there was a Texas legend early in 1973. David Clyde, 18 years old, drafted #1 overall by the Texas Rangers. And the story in a nutshell, the story went on in a number of different ways, but in a nutshell, you were called up to the major leagues as an 18-year-old, basically because they wanted to fill the stadium. Is that correct?
Pretty much so. I mean, I don't think that Whitey Herzog, who was my first manager, would have allowed it to happen if I didn't really have the ability. But what you have to understand at that level of play, and what I work with young players nowadays, and what they have to understand is that really the talent, especially here in Houston at the high school level, is not much different than what's at the major league level. It's just the consistency of how you perform, whereas at the major league level, they do it, they're able to, say, throw a fastball right at that spot 99% of the time, whereas in high school, it's only about 50% of the time.
Well, and when you say talented, I mean, you're underselling yourself. I mean, your record at Westchester was 18-0, I believe, your senior year. I can't believe these numbers are coming back to me, but you were basically untouchable in high school, drafted #1 overall. You're not going to tell them no when they say, hey, we want to call you up. But did you think at some point, I'd kind of like to get used to this professional thing for a while?
That didn't really happen in '73. That happened more in 1974 when my manager was Billy Martin, and I was going through some very, very tough times at that time. But like you say, you don't want to go to them and say, hey,
don't
play me, send me down to the minors. But yet I wasn't getting to pitch at the major league level, and I wanted to pitch. You don't get better by sitting. And so I was probably wrong for not going to him saying, hey, send me out. But yet, even in 74, with my faults and everything, I was still able to put people in the stands, and it's all about putting people in the stands.
And for the record, you won your first game in a pretty impressive fashion at Arlington Stadium, old Arlington Stadium. All that said, your career was about 5 years, I believe. Is that correct?
Actually, my major league career was about a month short of 4 full years in the big leagues. My overall professional career was about 9 years.
And part of the biggest reason of that was arm problems, whatever it may have been. So when you see someone like Steven Strasburg come up, did you reach out to him, number one, and what thoughts go through your mind when you see a young pitcher like that brought up so quickly?
Well, I didn't really reach out to him or anything. I had a lot of people call from around the country. The way I look at those things is I've had my day in the sun. It's their day to shine, and if they want to talk to me about it and have some advice, I'll be more than happy to talk to people about it. But what people have to understand about throwing a baseball is throwing a baseball overhand has inherent risk in it. That's why these young ladies here, even though they're track stars in fast pitch softball, can go out and throw every day and have underhand, because the natural arc of the arm is underhand. But to throw the baseball overhand has a lot of inherent risk in it, and as a pitcher, it has a whole lot more risk in it than, say, an outfielder who may go several games without having to make one maximum effort throw, whereas a starting pitcher in the big leagues is going to have 100 pitches just in the game. I mean, not counting the warm-ups in the bullpen and everything, getting ready to pitch at maximum effort. So it's the repetitive nature that brings risk to it also.
Now, Texas Rangers in the World Series. Wow. 2 years in a row.
Back, yeah.
And back-to-back. And your thoughts on that, what Nolan Ryan has done. And there's a rumor going around that you might be joining the Rangers again at some point.
Well, as you can see,
yeah, he's wearing the Rangers color. Gee, what gave it away?
Well, a little front runner here. But I am in the process of talking with the Rangers about possibly going back to work for them as a coach at some level. Would love to someday do it again at the big league level. But what you have to understand at the big league level is there's not a lot of instruction done at the major league level, and that's what harmed me a lot in my career is you're ready to perform at that level, not ready to still learn. I mean, every pitcher's still learning, but they're not out there to teach you like they do at the minor league level.
Real quick, what do you tell parents who have that phenom or someone who could be a phenom like you?
Well, first and foremost, and that's what I do for a living nowadays. I teach young pitchers anywhere from 6, 7, 8 years old all the way up to some lower level minor league pitchers that are on rehab stuff. We want to check your throwing fundamentals because of the inherent risk. I mean, it only takes one poorly thrown pitch to blow it all up. You can throw 100,000 pitches in a row and not get hurt, but the next one we lose our balance or whatever, it's all over with. So we want to make sure of good, strong throwing fundamentals. We want to make sure first and foremost, and the first thing I ask a young pitcher with the parents sitting right there is this what you want to do? Right. Even though I make my living doing this, I'm not here just to take your mom and dad's money because I thoroughly love this game, and I thoroughly love teaching it. I love to hopefully pass on the passion I have for it, and if you're not into it thoroughly, and I catch every pitch that these kids throw, I want you to be into it because I don't want to get hurt because you don't want to do it.
Very good. That's David Clyde, everybody. That's former Major Leaguer David Clyde. Let me move over here now to Coach Lane Hart, and it's Kingwood Park cross country. Just a hint, you look like you might run a little bit as well.
I used to. Not anymore. I just ride the bike and follow these girls around.
Well, I could do that. All right. You've got a young program. I mean, the school's only been around a little bit. Tell me about these girls. A lot of early accomplishments despite the youth of the program.
Right. We're in our 5th year, and in the first 4 years we won 3 state championships, and we were the runners-up last year. So this is a very new group, and a lot of new runners, and they're working their tails off. And obviously we like to win, so that's what we're going to try to do over these next few weeks.
Just 3 state championships, that's all. What happened the other 2 years? Come on.
I don't know. Well, just one. So
well, that's true.
We'll win again.
That's right. Do it again. Tell me a little bit about some of the things your program does. I know you develop them in Kingwood. I used to live there from real young. You're in a good spot. The girls love to run out there, and some of the ways that you develop that philosophy, because they go hard. And I've seen you guys out in the neighborhood.
We do, and you know, most kids don't just like to just run, but we try to make it a family atmosphere, and the girls are just the best of friends, and they go through a lot of punishment together, really, running every day. But there's a real sense of accomplishment whenever you do that, and you can do things that nobody else in school can do, and a lot of their work they get to see the rewards of every week.
Real quick, give me a typical training week. How many miles? What do you do?
We have some kids that average about 40 miles a week. So you know they'll do 2-a-day workouts all year, usually about 2 days a week. So anywhere from 5 to 8, 9, 10 miles a day for some of these girls.
Well, congratulations, girls. Give yourself a hand as I walk over here. I go 40 miles a week too. I go 40 miles a week too, but it's in my Texan Buick GMC. Let me get over here with Coach Kim Stokes. How are you, Coach?
I'm fine, thank you. How are you?
I know you guys are really involved in the community. In fact, you're wearing it tonight. Tell me a little bit about what's going on with Kingwood Park Cheer, our talk of the tailgate.
Well, tonight, as you said, is as you know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and tonight is our breast cancer game. So we are supporting breast cancer. We just, you know, we go out in the community. We support anyone we can. As you see, our Panther, we are K Park. We do car washes. We have the Kingwood Football League, the little football guys, and we do help their cheerleaders with some cheer clinics, and they come out and cheer with us at football games and basketball games. You know, just we do whatever we can. The girls are very busy. We pride ourselves at K Park with allowing our students to get involved in so many extracurricular activities. So we just get out in the community as much as we can.
That's fantastic. Now, I do know this for a fact. My daughter was in dance at Atascocita, but I do know people think, okay, once football season's over, y'all are done. Nothing could be further from the truth. Tell me about what happens competitively.
Well, we don't compete because we do get involved with everything else as far as our students. So at K Park, we don't compete. But
I mean, like, you know, basketball, other things you guys go. Yeah.
We do basketball, and that's really, we just in pep rallies, and that's about it. We don't cheer at anything else but basketball, volleyball, and football.
All right, let's hear it, girls. Everybody take a step back. Let's see your best yell, your best cheer. Have at it as we leave here, the tailgate at Texan Plaza. Let me tell you real quick, a couple of shout-outs, of course, to everybody here, to Bert Brocker. Bert, how we doing today?
We're doing great, John. And
right.
Want to make sure that the big man upstairs, Mr. Rusty Odom, we don't give him enough shout-outs for what he all does. He does every week these games and sends video, him and his kid and his crew, and they've got about 35 students, and I want to make sure that I give him the accolades that he's due.
Absolutely, and of course Provicom, the fine people behind the cameras as well. And let's get out of here. We're going to see you next week on Ion at the tailgate at Texan Plaza. We're going to leave with Kingwood Park Cheer.
Go, Big Green, let's go.